Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I have Neuro Coffee in hand and it is perfect. Another busy Wednesday as usual, big clinic day and such, but a couple of reminders before we roll here. IFAST University members, Mike Robertson will be on the Q&A today at 1 p.m. Eastern. Do not miss it. If you're not an IFAST U, I suggest you do that. Go to ifastuniversity.com and you can get signed up there. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. for you early risers and coffee drinkers, we have the Coffee and Coaches Conference call. We've had some killer calls the last few weeks. Great group of people, great questions, great discussion. Learn something for free. Okay. So yesterday I made a throwaway comment at the end of the discussion. We were talking about breathing and golf and how that would work. And I made a comment in regards to the top of backswing being external rotation. And that made some people uncomfortable. And so they asked me to demonstrate those mechanics. So we're going to do that, where I'm going to talk you through that. Okay. Now, I'm going to dedicate this to my favorite professional golfer, Cheech. He knows who he is. And so, Cheech, pay attention. This is going to be a really good one. Quick refresher. Everything is superimposed. Internal and external rotation, inhalation, exhalation, compression, expansion strategies. All of this stuff is superimposed. It's never just one or the other. All right, we're talking about gradients and we're talking about superimposition. So things are overlaid on top of one another. So it's never all one, it's never all the other until you hit the very, very extreme end ranges. So what we talk about when we're talking about internal and external rotations, we're talking about a bias. So we're going to be biased towards external rotation at the top of the backswing. Now, we're going to use a right-handed golfer as an example to make my life very, very simple. Okay, now let me simplify all rotational sports for you. All rotational sports are just variations of walking. Okay, and so when we talk about walking, and especially we talk about the golf swing is just walking with your feet fixed. So when we talk about the backswing, so the backswing is a lot like taking a step forward when you're walking. So as I step forward with my right foot and I swing my legs, or swing my arms rather, okay, I'm going to turn to the right. And so that's my early propulsive phase. And if I fix the foot and I use the exact same mechanics, it literally becomes the backswing. So now we've just simplified what the backswing is. Now what we have to do is identify what an early propulsive strategy is. And so we want to think about what the hip position is going to be. So let me grab the pelvis real quick. Okay, so we're going to talk about right hip on a golfer, on a right-handed golfer. And so this early phase of hip flexion, so this 0 to 60 degree range, I am biased towards external rotation. And this is actually where this backswing movement is actually going to take place. So right off the bat, just by position, I'm going to be biased towards external rotation. Now, if I want to transfer my weight to my right foot in my backswing and I want to turn my body to the right, I have to create a position inside the pelvis, within the pelvis, that allows me to make that turn. And so the position that I want to create is going to be that and that. So I have to create a counter nutation right here and a yielding strategy. So this is a concentric yielding strategy posteriorly in the pelvis that allows that sacrum to turn to the right. Okay, so I have to have the sacrum to turn to the right and a counter nutation here, or the lumbar spine cannot turn to the right. Now, as I do that, to create that shape in the pelvis, I'm also going to retrovert this acetabulum. If I retrovert this acetabulum, I am now in a position of ER. This is the end position of the backswing. So as I take the club back, I turn everything to the right, I'm going to create that position right there. Now, if I was to try to do this in internal rotation like a lot of people think, I'm going to IR the ilium, I'm going to nutate the sacral base on this side. If I nutate the sacral base on the right side and I try to move in that direction, I've just blocked the sacrum from turning to the right, I've just blocked the lumbar spine from turning to the right. If I try to twist a thorax on top of that, well, enjoy your spine surgery or your hip replacement, because that's essentially what's going to happen. You're now turning against the mechanics that allow you to turn comfortably and efficiently. And so again, this is ER at the top of the backswing. It doesn't mean that there's no IR occurring, because remember, they're superimposed. I'm just biasing it towards external rotation. Now, let's just suppose you don't have enough external rotation and you can't capture that position. What's your golf swing going to look like? Well, you're going to have a number of swing faults. Keep in mind that all of these swing faults are going to be substitutions for the lack of being able to acquire this external rotation position. So you're going to try to supinate your right foot as you take the club back. So you're going to roll to the pinky toe side of your foot. That's external rotation of your foot. That's a substitution for external rotation up the chain towards the hip. You're going to orient your knee outwards. So you're going to turn your lower leg and your thigh outward. So you're going to point your knee out towards right field as a substitution for the lack of external rotation. You're going to try to side bend away from that side, or you'll reverse pivot, which is also a substitution for a lack of external rotation to the right. So all of these are substitutions for this inability to acquire the position at the top of the backswing. Now, here's a little hint. The same thing's happening in the upper thorax, so don't get confused. It's going to be an ER position at the top as I accelerate the club head and move towards impact. That's where your internal rotation is going to be infinitely more important, because that's going to be where max propulsion lies. That's an internal rotation strategy that's exhalation based, and that's where you're going to produce all of this force. So when I have to acquire range of motion, I need to be ER'd, inhaled, okay, and that's going to be the top of the backswing. And if I transition into IR in that point, I'm going to have to compensate. So I'm going to challenge a constraint, or I'm going to create a swing fault. Hopefully that clarifies that for you. If you have any more questions, please ask. Go to askbillhartman@gmail.com, askbillhartman@gmail.com. Have an outstanding Wednesday, and I will see you guys at the Coffee and Coaches Call tomorrow morning.